Hey everyone, how are we today? Just doing our full moon shadow work reading for all the signs. This full moon is what they call a buck moon. It is also a super moon, so that means it's sort of closer to the earth, so the effects are going to be a little bit stronger than other full moons effects. Okay, so very interesting there. Now the signs that this will be affecting the most, we've got, Capricorn. Obviously it is a full moon in Capricorn. And its opposition, Cancer, obviously will be feeling the effect of that quite strongly as well. But also Aries and Libra will be feeling this full moon pretty strong. I have discovered as well. But this full moon is all about, honesty with yourself. And so that's why, all the full moons, they do sort of bring that emotional tide around. I do find the full moons very effective at looking at things like shadow work, looking at your shadow self, looking at, the things that you feel you need to change about yourself, that process of self-growth and self-awareness. In order to grow, we do firstly need to be aware of the things that, may be the darker sides of ourselves that we don't want to deal with. That's why it is that shadow element. Now, this full moon, it does look at not only honesty with yourself, but looking at, your priorities in life, your commitment to the way that we approach our life's structure. So really grounding us in reality this full moon. Okay, but I will be looking at a few elements. I do have the Heal Yourself reading cards here. I also this time around I am going to be using the Soul's Journey purpose cards, the lesson cards. So they have some of the a lot of meanings in there that, some can perceive as more negative, but things like, envy and, oh, look at that, death. So we do have quite a few harder messages coming through with those as well. And as always, I will be sort of clarifying things with the lenormand. Today I'm using the Dreaming Way lenormand, another darker imagery deck there, as you can see, quite dark imagery. But I'm feeling that this deck should be able to sort of help perceive those extra layer of information in a loving way for ourselves as well. Now, anyone that does comment on one of my videos, you will go in the draw for a free personal reading. I'll be drawing that when we hit our first 100 subscribers. Obviously, just a super small channel, guys. So help me grow a little bit. Thank you so much for all your support already. But, every single like and subscribe to the channel really does mean a lot to me. And also will help you stay updated with any future readings and all those sorts of things as well. But yeah, thank you all so much for your support so far. I will be starting today with Aries and moving on through the whole zodiac there. Like I said, Aries is one of the signs that will be affected, a little bit more this time around with that full moon energy. So, hopefully we can use that in a positive way to sort of kick off that self-awareness and then that self-acceptance, and, maybe finding some things we may need to approach in order to better ourselves as well. Okay, so getting started with our Aries. How are we, Aries? Just looking at our shadow selves today. Now, I do apologize in advance if I do need to cough here and there. I have just sort of been getting over an infection, so I'm still a bit still got a bit of a cough here and there. As soon as I say that, of course. Okay, so Aries, you guys are going to be affected probably quite strongly by this full moon. So hopefully we can get that happening for you in a more positive manner rather than, dwelling on that, that sometimes it can be harsh energy with the full moons. Okay, Aries, what does Aries need to know for their shadow work this month, please? Aries for their shadow work. Okay, Aries, we do have the temptation card coming out strong. So the temptation card, it can talk about, you know, the addictions that we find ourselves craving, the things that we are tempted to go towards. You know, so really a time of self-reflection and working out whether you want these particular things to stay in your life or whether you want to, you know, avoid those temptations. So you know, when I say addictions, it's not just, you know, the obvious addictions like alcohol, drugs, those sorts of things, but also those temptations that you know, sometimes are disguised as, you know, better things. So, you know, sometimes temptation in the sexual sense. How are you approaching your temptations in this life? Are you just sort of rolling with it and letting yourself be tempted, or are you, you know, stopping yourself from following temptation in order to meet your long-term goals? Now, that seems to be the main sort of vibe with temptation is, you know, a lot of the time those temptations do actually distract us from what we do truly want long term. And a lot of the time those temptations aren't helping us achieve our long-term goals. So really a good time to reflect on the things that, you know, are a temptation to you, whether that is people, things, you know, or whatever it may be for you yourself. All right there, Aries. So that's what we've got with the Heal Yourself cards. But like I said, I am using those Soul's Journey life lesson cards today as well. So I'm going to be using these as the sort of more main portion, but we are looking at temptation as a sort of overall view when it comes to our shadow work this month. So we're going to be hitting on probably a few different issues here, Aries. So Aries, shadow work for Aries, please. Okay, Aries. So we do have the Freedom card. So what are you holding back from? You know, it does say I possess the power and the free will to create my own happiness. So when we're seeing that coming out in a shadow work sort of arena there, it's not allowing yourself that free will, not allowing yourself to create your own happiness. You're avoiding things that are allowing you that full freedom of yourself. All right. So definitely looking at, you know, that temptation coming up once again, that you know, following your temptations rather than the things that you truly want, you know, and it's not actually creating more happiness for you. It may be creating other things for you there. So really focusing this month on the things that, you know, where you're following your true self rather than just following the temptation of what's easiest in the moment. So I do feel as though we may be looking at, you know, taking some of the harder choices and going along those paths rather than just going with the easiest options. All right, you know, that freedom, it's you're blocking your own freedom at this point, Aries. We also have the imagination card, very, very tied in with your freedom as well. Okay, so it does say, I embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my mind. So you're not allowing yourself imaginative freedom either. Okay, so you're blocking your creative self by blocking your own sense of freedom and blocking your true you know, you're not freeing yourself to all the possibilities within you. Okay, so you're allowing your imagination to stay quite limited and not actually freeing yourself to the possibilities of all the things that you do truly, you know, desire and those creative aspects of your mind. So really needing to look at things in a new way, look at things in a more creative standpoint, and taking that on board, that, you know, allow your imagination to run free, as we see with that freedom card. Don't follow the temptation to do everything the easy way. Sometimes you know your imagination can actually see things in a weirder way that it may not feel like the easiest path to take, but you know, if you can dream it, you can live it, is the kind of vibe I get from that there. But we'll clarify those messages with the Lenormand and get some advice for you, how to deal with these issues for yourself at the moment, Aries. Advice for Aries to deal with their shadow work, please. Advice for Aries to deal with their shadow work, please. Okay, so we are definitely you know, seeing that you are sort of keeping yourself very insular at the moment with that house coming through. That is the house card. Okay, so definitely looking at you know, your sense of security and stability. So I feel as though this is kind of the opposite advice, is you, this is what you're kind of doing. You're keeping yourself at home, I feel, rather than allowing yourself that freedom. It's kind of showing us that, you know, with that freedom card and then the house card, the house card is, it doesn't move. It's very solid and stable, and that's exactly what you are doing. You're trying to find your stability, but not by actually you know, opening your wings and finding your freedom within yourself. All right, so your advice, I feel, would be to, you know, find stability, you know, and security for yourself in spreading your wings a little bit, venturing out further than your home. Okay, so this does talk about family issues as well. So there may be some things coming to light with you just in yourself when it comes to family issues as well. Um, we also have the moon card. So very interesting to have a full moon reading and we get the moon card coming out for you. It's really talking about those emotional sensitivities. So with the path of the moon, you know, being that full moon as well, it's really assessing your true feelings and following your intuition. Okay, instead of following those temptations, that's not actually following your intuition. Those temptations are, like I said before, just following the easiest path, the path of least resistance. Sometimes following your intuition involves, you know, walking a harder path sometimes. You know, stop and listen to yourself and really, you know, become very emotionally sensitive to your true emotions and where they want to take you. You know, with this moon energy, it does have a lot of luck with it as well. But the main thing I'm getting there is, you know, is that emotional sensitivity side of things, and asking yourself why are you feeling that you are only secure at your physical home? Why are you not, you know, getting out there and enjoying the full moon and spreading your wings and, you know, using your imagination to allow you to, you know, expand? I feel there, Aries. So we also have the tree coming through. So that is a very big flag for doing the work, basically, when it comes to your self-growth. It's just letting us know, you know, you really do need to branch out a little bit more. You know, there may be some, like I said, with that house, you know, with the house and the tree in the same sort of reading, there may definitely be some family issues that you need to look at as well. And, you know, using your imagination to actually look at the positives within those particular issues. Okay, so I do feel for some of you, there may be some sort of family history that's holding you back from allowing yourself this freedom, from allowing yourself to follow your imagination and your intuition. Okay, so really a good time to look at that and let go of any loss or anything that's been eating away at you. We do have the mouse card there, and that does sort of chew away at you, eat away in the back of your head. So you know already there's things that are eating away at you and causing you, you know, causing you to feel as though you're only safe and secure within your tiny little bubble, and you know, but it's not actually for your best self. All right. So in order to grow, we do need to let go of these past things that are eating away at us and you know, nesting in our branches, I suppose, in a way, you know, with that mouse energy. But it really does talk about things that you have lost in the past. especially when it comes to family situations. I'm really feeling that there's some family stuff from the past that does still sort of eat away at you quite strongly, and that's sort of part of what is holding you back from really letting yourself fly. I do feel I'm just getting that same sort of message over and over again for you there, Aries. So I feel as though you guys are going to know what that means for you personally, and how to avoid those temptations. Once again, looking at, you know, possessing yourself with the sense of freedom and imagination. Allow yourself to be free, allow yourself to run a bit wild with the imagination, and don't follow those negative temptations that have caused you more grief. All right. I feel as though with the temptation card, it reminds us that your true temptations you're following temptations that are not serving you. Okay, but your true temptations are the ones that you're holding back on your intuition, and you're telling your intuition, no, 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 I'm tempted to do that, but I'm not going to do that. You are holding back quite a lot there, Aries. So time to look at that and what exactly you are holding back from, because with the freedom and creativity cards coming out, you have a lot of potential there, Aries. So, you could be, heading into some beautiful energy if only you let yourself run free and wild, I feel. Okay, well, that's what we have for you, Aries. So moving over to our Taurus. How are we today, Taurus? Just looking at our shadow work for the month. This lovely full moon energy always gives those shadow work readings a bit of zing. So we'll see what wants to come out for Taurus. What shadow work does Taurus need to be aware of? Shadow work for Taurus, please. Love. Okay, Taurus. Hard and heavy, straight off the bat. Love. There we go. So obviously there is some issues with the way that we love others, the way that we perceive love coming towards us. Love as a shadow work thing can be a very hard um, deal, basically, because it's asking us to look within at how we love and how we receive love from others. And there's obviously when that's coming out in shadow work, it does let us know that there's some issues there, and we're not loving correctly, or we're not understanding love correctly. Okay, so quite a tough energy to come through, Taurus. So we'll get a bit more information for you, Taurus. Shadow work for Taurus, please. Okay, so yeah, definitely some hard love energy here, and these shadow work readings are all about tough love as well. So we are seeing the relationships card coming out. So I'm attracted to those people who serve my higher good is where you need to be going with your shadow work self. Attracting relationships that actually help you and serve a higher purpose for you. Whereas I feel for a lot of you, Taurus, you probably are attracting, the same people, the same energy in different faces, and having quite a lot of problems with relationships. Looking at your past relationships, in all honesty, have you loved that person to the best of your ability? Has that person loved you in a way that you have actually, felt loved? So definitely having a look at our past relationships and how they've helped create a sense of love within ourselves, and how can we better on that and move forward without all those negative things coming through. How can we actually, and I feel for a lot of you, Taurus, it's a matter of looking back at past relationships and actually seeing the love that was there that you may not have seen or felt while you were in that relationship, and understanding that different people show love in different ways, and maybe that's why you didn't feel it, because they were showing their love in a way that you just didn't understand. Okay, so I feel like that might be important for some of you there, Taurus. We also have patience coming through. So, feeling as though you guys are maybe quite impatient at the moment, Taurus, when it comes to, working through your own issues, understanding that these things do take time, and that is okay. All right. You don't have to rush everything. You don't have to, rush from one thing to the next. You can actually be patient and, spend that time to yourself to work out these issues that we're having, with love and relationships. And, having that patience to actually deal with things will help us a great deal in the future. Now, that does say, I accept that everything happens in divine order. So that does also talk about, letting go of that control, and just going with the flow. Like I said, you don't have to fill in the gaps all the time. Sometimes it's okay to just sit and be still and allow the universe to take control for us. But we'll grab you some advice. Advice for Taurus with their shadow work, please. Advice for Taurus with their shadow work, please. Firstly, we have the key coming through. So that is all about, there's part of yourself, Taurus, that you need to unlock. All right. The key is all about unlocking new doors and, finding that success within yourself. It does talk about a great deal of success headed your way. So you are going to be successful in love down the track there, Taurus. I do feel that strongly. But it's a matter of unlocking your heart, being a little bit more vulnerable when it comes to love and relationships. And I feel as though there's a part of yourself that you have not opened that door to anybody, probably not even yourself, Taurus. So it's time to open that door and face that. Okay, whatever that is for you specifically, it is time to open that door and face that. Okay, Taurus. It's probably going to have a lot to do with this bear card here. Now, the bear does talk about you being quite overprotective and a little bit defensive against love. All right, so you being maybe too overprotective of your true feelings and your heart space. You being a little bit too defensive of people, allowing people to get too close to you in case they accidentally unlock this door that you don't want to show even yourself. And if you don't want to face it, why would you allow someone close enough that they might accidentally, let it go free? So that bear, it's really, it can be quite strong and powerful energy, but it's all about standing in your own power, and that you do have the strength to face whatever it is that's on the other side of that door. You have the strength within you, Taurus, to face that issue and deal with that. And then as soon as you do, we do have that stalk energy, so it really will stir up some new energy in you, and really start to get things moving and shaking. All right, that is really, it does talk about pregnancy sometimes, that stalk card. So it really does talk about gestating this brand new thing, and so you can kind of imagine that in the future it's going to, if you unlock this door and face that, stand in your power and face that defensiveness that you have against love and relationships, it's really going to start to, get that energy swirling and growing of, a brand new aspect of love within you, and you're going to then receive that as well. But at the end of the day, have patience. Okay, try to have patience. These things do take time, and it's okay to take the time to yourself to really sit down with yourself and face these issues. All right, Taurus. So that's what I have for you, Taurus. Make sure you do leave me a comment and let me know what you think. If that doesn't resonate for you, feel free to check your other placements. But thank you, everyone, for all your likes and subscribes. But we will move on to our Geminis. How are we, Gemini? Just looking at shadow work today. What does Gemini need to know for their shadow work, please? We have the healing card coming out there, Gemini. So when it comes to shadow work, I feel as though you have been avoiding healing, and sort of maybe rushing yourself through healing rather than actually spending the time to heal properly. It's kind of like that, giving me that vibe of, putting a band-aid on, and yet there's still sort of blood gushing out all around it. And it's just a band-aid fix. It's not actually going to fix the root of the problem. All right. So it's really a matter of healing ourselves from within, rather than just putting little patches over the things as they arise. Yeah, so really feeling there's some deeper healing that you do need to address at the moment, the root of the problem, so to speak. So you may have been having some, reoccurring issues that all stem back to the same issue, and it's not until you fix that cause issue that these other small issues are going to resolve as well. Okay, Gemini. What does Gemini need to know for their shadow work, please? Shadow work for Gemini. Okay, so Gemini, we have purpose and indecision. All right, so I feel as though these go together today, that you are very indecisive about what your purpose is and what is the purpose of this healing that you're doing. You are sort of, like I said, just addressing things as they pop up, not actually addressing the cause of the issue. So the purpose one does say, I know what I am here to do. So it really feels like at the moment, you don't know what you're here to do. You don't know how to do that, and you don't know how to address that healing. That's why we are just doing those band-aid jobs, because we aren't actually seeing the purpose of addressing things that may be long in the past. But the purpose is that, like I said, it's not until you address the root of the issue that you're going to solve all these other problems along with that. And then the indecision coming through. I use my intuition in all aspects of life. So that sort of talks about not using your intuition, not kind of sort of being a bit wishy-washy there, Gemini, and not making clear decisions, sort of ignoring your intuition when it comes to making decisions, and just sort of waiting for choices to be made for you, rather than clearly making a decision, even if you down the track think you've made the wrong decision. You're not making those decisions with confidence in the first place. So then you do find that, yeah, other people make the decisions for you, and then all of a sudden you're left like, oh well, maybe if I had have chose this, then maybe it could have worked out differently. And so you're probably being left with a bit of regret, when it comes to your indecision, Gemini. So it's all about, looking at the way that we are making decisions for our life at the moment, especially making this decision to heal ourselves, I feel, Gemini. You've kind of been a bit wishy-washy, I feel. So maybe really, really focusing on that at the moment. And if you are making a choice or decision in your life, use your intuition, make a choice, and stand to it. Even if you down the track think that you've made the wrong choice, stand by your decision, because at least you have made a decision. And the more confident you are in making a decision, the more confident you will be in making future decisions as well. All right, so it's like that practice makes perfect kind of thing. Even if you make the wrong choices, you know, we all make mistakes. It's just part of life. Okay, advice for Gemini. Advice for Gemini when dealing with their shadow work, please. Advice for Gemini. Okay, Gemini. So firstly, we do have the mouse coming out. So the mouse really does talk about loss from the past, you know, and things that sort of eat away at us. So I feel like, once again, that's that indecision coming on out. You feel as though you've made the wrong choices in the past, and therefore you're sort of not willing to make choices in the future. You know, but you're going to lose one way or the other if you're not making a clear choice. You will sort of, you then lose one way, you lose both ways if you don't make a clear choice one way. All right, as well as that healing coming through as well. There may be a loss in the past that you actually are not addressing. So it's asking you to, you know, look at the things that are eating away in the back of your mind, and go down to the root cause of those things, and really start to assess, how can I start healing from that loss. All right, so really starting to address some of the loss that we felt in the past. All right, and then we do have the ship coming through. Okay, so once again, that's with that indecision and that purpose as well. So it's making a clear decision and then setting sail confidently in that direction. All right, so regardless of whether it's the, you know, you're not going to know until you set sail whether you are following the right path or not. So you may as well make a choice one way or the other. Otherwise, you're just going to be this ship sitting here going around in circles, you know, going this way, and then you have to backtrack and go that way. And then it's not going to work. All right. So really starting to make clear decisions one way or the other, you know, and really sort of just look at it as though it's an adventure. All right, so even if you make the wrong decision, it's still an adventure, and you will still learn from that journey of the wrong choice, and then in the future it will help you make the choices that you do need to make, and help you know how to follow your intuition in a better way. All right, so the more, like, once again, practice makes perfect. Okay, so as long as you set sail confidently, you know, it's an adventure. Like I said, you will learn how to navigate those rough seas. Okay, and then we do have the heart coming on out. So what that really does talk about that healing factor. All right, so with that healing, make sure to give yourself some love as well, Gemini. Really, really coming from a place of love for yourself, you know, and you're not going to be able to love yourself fully until you heal from things that have happened in the past for you there, Gemini. But it's really all about, you know, loving yourself, and finding that self-love while we're going through this journey. All right, and like I said, with the indecision, and making that choice confidently, it's like, put your whole heart into that choice. All right, and you will find that it will help you, you know, help guide you in the future. You know, if you're following your heart and putting your whole heart into that choice, it's much more likely to work out positively, even if you make the wrong choice. All right, so stop being so scared of making a choice. I want to say there, Gemini, you know, find your purpose in, even if your purpose is, you know, to just make a choice. It doesn't mean that, you know, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to always follow the right path. You know, sometimes we get on a path, and we have to take a few detours, but they all end up at the same place. All right, and so if you follow that path with all the detours and whatnot, geez, you learn a lot more on the way, don't you? All right, so just enjoy the journey and adventure that life is bringing you with these choices, but make them confidently. All right. Okay, so moving on to our Cancer crew. How are we, Cancer? Just looking today at our shadow work. All right. Now, Cancer, you guys are in opposition to that full moon in Capricorn. So this full moon probably will be affecting you guys quite strongly as well. Don't let that hold you back. Cancer, what does Cancer need to know about shadow work? Cancer's shadow work this month, please. Soulmate, Cancer. That's a very interesting energy to be getting for our shadow work reading. That soulmate card. Okay, so I think with the soulmate card, it is kind of just letting us know that, you know, first and foremost, that you can be your own soulmate, Cancer. You know, you definitely can, but also to really actually, you know, look at all the issues around the soulmate thing. Like, what do you even want a soulmate? Do you even want, you know, what does a soulmate mean to you? You know, how would you know you've met your soulmate? Because what does it mean to you? My personal belief is that there's a lot of soulmates in this life that we come across. You know, like I personally believe that my best friend is one of my soulmates. Me and her have been together a very long time. You know, so over 20 odd years now. So, you know, sometimes soulmates along the journey are more than just, you know, love, but really looking at what you personally believe, and maybe even needing to look into it a little bit at the moment, Cancer, because, you know, maybe if there is someone in your life that is a false soulmate at this time as well. But like I said, I do feel, I want to say again, that you can be your own soulmate too, all right? So it's really just working out what a soulmate means for you, and if that's even something that you're wanting at this stage of your journey. Okay, Cancer, or what sort of soulmate are you wanting at this stage of your journey? Are you wanting, you know, that super good friend soulmate? Are you wanting like a teacher sort of soulmate who can help guide you, or are you wanting that, you know, love soulmate? Really, sort of working out, you know, what it is that you need when it comes to those sorts of soul connections at this time. Okay. What does Cancer need to know for their shadow work, please? Okay, Cancer, courage, as well as humor. Okay, so I feel as though you may have been feeling very bland, and like there's, you know, you really need to find some humor in everything at the moment. I feel as though, you know, with the humor card coming out, you probably have been feeling a bit lackluster at the moment, and not seeing all the you know, the funny stuff to life. Like, life can be hilarious, honestly. It's in all aspects, okay? Like, even that sarcastic sort of humor, like it's life, right? There's a lot of funny things that happen in life. But I feel as though you're not seeing that at the moment, Cancer. You're kind of not allowing yourself to smile and have fun and have a joke and that kind of stuff at the moment, Cancer. So for some reason, humor is something that you need to look at when it comes to your journey at the moment. So it may just also be the way that you are understanding humor as well. Like, you may be struggling to understand certain types of humor, and really just wanting to learn a little bit more about, you know, the comedic side of life. I That's a weird one. You know, I feel as though, yeah, you're just not looking at the brighter side of life. You're feeling a bit dark and miserable at the moment with that, Cancer. So really just trying to inject some humor into your life at the moment, in however, you know, works for you. All right. And then with courage as well. Now, that does say, I find the inner strength to face fear with confidence. So that straight away lets us know that you've got a lot of fear going on at the moment, Cancer, whether you are facing it or not and aware of it or not. There is quite a lot of things that, you know, are holding you back. You know, you're not stepping forward courageously. You're not you're not sort of being brave with your decisions, being, you know, brave with your humor as well. I want to say not having the courage to, you know, think about having a soulmate even, you know. So something going on with your inner strength at the moment, Cancer. And do you know what? We don't have to be strong all the time. Sometimes we do just need to sit back and watch some trash TV and have a bit of a laugh, and that will actually help us find that inner strength and courage. You know, it's just one of those weird things that it does work out that way, that sometimes we do need to just step back a little bit and sit in the humorous side of stuff. Like I said, just go and watch some trashy TV or something. That always works for me. I always go and watch the Kardashians and have a giggle. But you know, it's finding that inner strength at the moment as well. So really, stopping and looking at the times in your life where you have been, you know, strong, and all the things that you have achieved in the past, and that you do have this lovely inner strength. It's just a matter of you're allowing your fear to take control at the moment, and you're not relying on your strength as much as you could be. But we'll get some advice for you, Cancer. Advice for Cancer when it comes to their shadow work, please. Okay, so firstly, we do have the key, Cancer. So there's part of you that you are not facing straight away, because with the key, that's sort of letting us know that, as your advice, it is to actually, you know, open the door to yourself. There's, you know, a part of yourself that you've sort of hidden away with a lock and a key, and you need to actually unlock that and face that. Okay, and have the courage to really face that, because there's some sort of, I feel as though it's a fear when it comes to this soulmate card. Okay, because we've got the fear coming through with that courage, we've got that soulmate card, and then the next card I have is the ring. So we're talking about relationships and friendships with the dog there as well. So you know, we are fearful of closeness, I feel, within connections, and we're not, you know, we're not spending time and fun. We're not having fun anymore within relationships and connections, and really needing to actually sit down with yourself, unlock that part of yourself that is holding back, that part of you that is, you know, holding yourself back because you're afraid of how people are going to perceive you, holding yourself back because you're feeling that, you know, that's not going to happen for you, or whatever it is for you, Cancer. You are holding a part of yourself back, and you really need to sort of unlock that side to yourself. And this is the card of success. Okay, so you will have a lot of success, but you really do need to unlock that little part of yourself that you're holding back. I feel like you're holding it back from relationships and holding back from your friendships. Pardon. Because yeah, with that ring, there's a fear of relationships for some reason. Why are you afraid of, you know, people allowing people too close to you? Why are you afraid of relationships? You know, that definitely could be outright. You know, you've met someone who you feel as though is your soulmate, but for some reason you're holding back. You do not have the courage to face this person, to you know, allow them close enough to unlock that connection properly. So I don't know what's going on there, Cancer. You guys are probably going to know more than I, but it really is all about facing that fear. There's a I just keep getting that same message about facing your fear over and over again. And we do also have the dog. Okay, so that does sort of bring to mind, you know, it does bring loyalty and compassion to mind, as well as friendships. So I feel as though this has got to do with that relationship, though, is that, you know, there's a specific relationship that you're afraid of letting too close to you, because you're afraid that they are not going to be loyal. You're afraid that they do not have compassion for you, or that you're going to be unable to be loyal to them. You know, but there's a definite issue with loyalty, Okay, so someone may have treated you bad in the past, Cancer. Someone may have been disloyal to you in the past. But, if this person truly is your soulmate, that's not going to happen, all right? And if it does happen, you can face that. You find the courage, find that inner strength to face that fear, unlock that fear within yourself, unlock that side of yourself and give it to this person. And things will work out for you. I'm feeling, I'm feeling really strongly that, this person with that dog energy coming through, and because I've got soulmate and ring and the key there, it feels like it has that potential to be a successful relationship. And even though that's the card of friendship, I keep getting that this is to do with a soulmate. All right. So this may be a soulmate who is a platonic friend of yours, but I am feeling that it's probably more along the lines of a love soulmate connection that you are for some reason avoiding. Okay, Cancer. So, and I feel it's because you feel as though, they aren't going to be loyal to you, or you're afraid that if you open yourself to this person that they're going to betray you, or you have a lot of fear when it comes to this connection, and there's no need to fear. Okay, this person wants to be loyal and with you and compassionate with you. They want to be there for you. They want to support you. All right, that dog is a very supportive card. So it's really talking about opening up to the people that want to be in relationships with us, that want to be supportive of us, whether they're friends or lovers or whatever. Open up, Cancer. That's what I'm getting for you, Cancer. Get past that fear and open up to these people. All right, you will be amazed at where it will take you. To be honest, it's feeling very positive. Okay. But then moving over to our, oh, sorry, I'm just trying to make sure I've got the correct timestamps here. So moving over to Leo. How are we today, Leo? Just looking at our shadow work today. Shadow work for our Leos. What does Leo need to know for their shadow work this month, please? Courage. Okay. Have courage, Leo. And courage is a very Leo trait as well. So why are you stopping yourself from being courageous? All right, or maybe for a couple of you, you've got too much courage and you need to rein it in a little bit. All right, but courage is the main sort of overview of what we need to look at with our shadow work this month. There's something going on within yourself when it comes to issues of courage. So are you being, not brave enough, or are you sort of jumping in headfirst without thinking and being like too brave there, Leo? We'll have a look. Leo, shadow work for Leo, please. And if you're on the cusp of Cancer, Leo, I did just pull courage for, in a different deck, I pulled courage for Cancer as well. So there may be something for you in that one if you have strong Cancer placements or are on the cusp, all right? But when it comes to your reading, Leo, we do have grief coming through strong, okay? So I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. Okay, so we're lacking in courage when it comes to the things that we are grieving, not facing our grief. Okay, courage is an inner thing where you know, it's your inner strength that faces these harder issues. Having the courage to face things within yourself, and at the moment there's some grief in your life, whether it's in the past or current or whatever it is for you. It could be, grief over loss of a person or otherwise, loss of a relationship, grief over all sorts of things. There is some sort of grief within you that you are not facing at the moment. Your fear is not allowing you to have the strength to face that grief. We also have the envy card coming out. Okay, so I am the same as everybody, but with different challenges. So why are we being envious of people, Leo? You're Leo, you're the lions, okay? You guys don't need to be envious of anybody. You guys are the ones with the beautiful manes, and, you know, you've got it going on. You already know that, Leo. But no, envy is, you know, coming up for you when it does come to your shadow work. So just be careful that we're not, you know, crossing the line into being envious of people who maybe aren't dealing with grief, people that are stronger, or we perceive that have a lot more inner strength than us. Why are we envious of that? They probably have things that you don't even see, just like you have things that they don't even see. Okay, so it's really looking at your own self and taking out all the extra people. Don't worry about what everyone else is doing. Worry about you, Leo. All right. So no need to be envious of anyone or anything, even if they've got, you know, that beautiful mansion that you want. And, you know, like, who wouldn't want a beautiful mansion though? So, you know, like it's one of those kinds of things. If it's something like that, Leo, a lot of people probably are looking at that person going, oh yeah, I really wish I had that beautiful mansion. But do you know what? What you don't see behind the doors of that beautiful mansion is that they don't have this and they don't have that and they don't have this. And you're sitting there in your tiny little house, Leo, and wishing that you had this big mansion. But then, you know, if you had this big mansion, like, can you imagine the cleaning fees, and all that sort of stuff? But also, you know, they may be sitting up there in their big mansion all alone, and you've got all this other stuff around you. So it's just different aspects, all right, different challenges. So you may perceive someone as having it all, whereas, you know, they may be perceiving you as having it all, even though they're just different things. All right, there's that saying of like, you know, money doesn't buy happiness, and do you know what? It doesn't. Money doesn't buy love. Money doesn't buy, you know, family that love you, friends that love you. Money does not buy happiness. You cannot buy happiness. You know, you can buy that big mansion, but you're still going to be sitting up there all alone at the end of the day if you are alone already. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, it's not going to fill the void within you. All right. Money does not, you know, fill any emptiness that we feel inside. It can't fill that. All right. Unless you're like me and that emptiness within you is like $1 million. Like, bring it on. Okay. So Leo, advice for Leo to face their shadow work, please. Advice for Leo. Yeah, Leo. So first and foremost, we have the child. All right. So, you know, your advice is to be childlike. You know, you can probably get away with even being a little bit immature at this time, Leo, to be honest, with the child coming through. But it's really talking about, you know, going back and looking at the world through a child's eyes. All right. So children don't have any responsibilities. They don't have to worry about money or bills or any of that. You know, so really looking at things through a child's eyes with the innocence and that sense of amazement and wonderment at the world that a child, you know, a child sees everything as an adventure, and something can be gained from everything that comes their way. So really starting to look at the world through that and bringing that sense of joy back into your life, Leo. We also have the lily. Okay, so that really does talk about, you know, facing your emotional self, facing these emotional insecurities, having that courage, like finding that courage, that inner strength to overcome your fear. overcome your envy that other people don't have this same grief that you do, because the more that you can face, be intimate with yourself emotionally, the more you will be able to face these things, all right, and deal with that grief. So if you have got grief going on, sitting with that emotion, being intimate with yourself and honest with yourself about that emotion that you are feeling is actually going to help you deal with that grief in the long term. Okay, having a big cry, letting it all out, it is going to help you long term. Okay, Leo. We also have the star coming through. I just got to nope, that's actually the sun. I always get them confused in this deck, but it is the sun, which is actually the Leo card in the Lenormand. Okay, so you guys are the sun. But yeah, it's really that warmth and happiness. All right. So once again, that childlike sense of happiness and the sun's shining, I'm going to go out and play kind of a vibe. And the sun really does bring things to light for you as well. So it's bringing that emotional side of yourself to light, and that will really, really help you find the courage that you need at the moment, Leo. So that's what I have for you, Leo. Of course, feel free to check your other placements, but we are looking at some of the harder issues today. But make sure you leave me a comment and let me know if that resonated for you. Everyone that comments will go in the draw for that free personal reading. But I will move on to Virgo. How are we, Virgo? Just doing our shadow work reading today. So what does Virgo need to know in regard to shadow work? What does Virgo need to know in shadow work this month? Okay, letting go, Virgo. So what is it that we're holding on to, Virgo? Obviously, with the letting go card, there's something that we're not letting go of when it comes to that, and really needing to look within ourselves of why are we not letting go of that? What is it that's holding us to that thing? Whether it's a thing or a person, or could definitely be something within yourself. A past behavior that you aren't letting go of. Some sort of regret even that you're not letting go of. All right, but we'll see what else wants to come out for you, Virgo. Virgo, shadow work for Virgo, please. Okay, so the reason we're probably not letting go of whatever this thing is for you, we do have the change card. So you're afraid of change, whatever it is. It's something that it's like you're so used to having that thing or being that way that you are afraid of changing it, because it's kind of like that whole vibe of better the devil you know, whereas that's not always the case. If we're afraid of change, sometimes that's not actually for our better good. Sometimes that change is what we need. This card does say, I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. So you're holding yourself back from growth and movement, without letting things evolve. So, if you are holding on to something, it is holding you back from change in a positive way as well. Okay, so sometimes these things, we need that change for a reason. We need to let go of that for a reason, because maybe there's something better just around the corner and you're not seeing the better because you're still holding so tightly onto that. Okay, we also have the imagination card coming out, Virgo. So that does say, I embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my mind. So, with that, we are being a little bit closed-minded. We're not allowing our creative side to shine. We're holding back on our dreams. We're not allowing our dreams to flourish. So it's kind of with the imagination card, it really does sort of let us know that you need to think outside the square and beyond you know, whatever you're holding on to so tightly, you know, you're not sort of allowing those creative juices to flow and see other paths that may be open to you, because you know you're not allowing your imagination to think that that may even be something that you can have. You know, you're blocking yourself to fully realizing your dreams because you are blocking, you know, the full extent of your dreams. If you're holding on to something so tightly, and blocking your full dream of that thing, you may not even be seeing, you know, the full extent of what you do truly wish for. All right. So we'll grab you some advice. Advice for Virgo on how to deal with their shadow work, please. Advice for Virgo. Okay, so we do have that moon coming through. So, you know, great card to see when it is that full moon energy. It's sort of letting us know that the time is now. Okay, so really start following your intuition with that moon card as well. But it does talk about emotional sensitivities as well. So I would dare say that, you know, what you're holding on to is something that is quite emotional. You're holding on to a particular emotion and not allowing that to evolve and grow into anything new. All right, because we do see here that, you know, it's we do have the book, followed by the child coming through for you as well. So the book is all about, you know, allowing that next chapter to start, allowing that growth to happen, allowing that change in. The book is all about, you know, entering the unknown and allowing your story to, you know, keep going. If you are holding on so tightly to the past, you're not, you're stuck on chapter 3 or whatever. You know, you're not allowing yourself to see the full extent of what could come next. Once again, with that imagination card, you're sort of stuck in the story that's already been written. You're not seeing that there could be a big unexpected plot twist coming up, kind of a vibe. You're holding yourself back from the potential new chapters coming in for yourself. And it's letting us know, approach that new direction, approach those new chapters of your life, through a child's eyes. You know, that's that sense of joy, that sense of adventure, that this next chapter could be the best chapter of your life. And if you're holding yourself back from that, you're never going to get to that adventure, are you? You know, so the child is very adventurous in spirit, and it's really sort of looking through the lens of a child. So, you know, quite joyful and positive and innocent, that, you know, anything could happen next. So once again, allowing your imagination to sort of run free with all the possibility that could be. All right. So really, this focus on imagination for you this month, Virgo. You know, the imagination running wild, I feel, you know, especially with that child coming through as well, because, you know, like a child, a child might see a closed book, and you know, us as an adult, we can sort of judge from the cover, oh, this is going to be about that, it's going to be about that. Whereas the child, they might see that book and they'll be like, it's, you know, they'll use their imagination and they'll be like, oh, it's definitely about dragons and fairies, and there's a unicorn that takes over the world, and it's like this amazing story. They've got this full sense of adventure, this sense of innocence, that it could be anything. It could be the best story ever. You know, so really needing to take that on board and let your imagination run wild with, you know, where you could go from here, allowing those changes to come in for you, and a lot of adventure, in accepting any change coming your way, Virgo. It really, I keep getting that, you know, it could be the biggest adventure ever coming through for you there. All right, so really letting your imagination run wild this month, Virgo. Okay, so that's what I have for you, Virgo. You know, obviously, feel free to check your other placements. But for now, we'll move over to our Libra. How are we, Libra? Just looking at our shadow work for this month. Obviously, it is the full moon. This particular full moon will be affecting you quite strongly, Libra. So it's a great time to be looking at shadow work and things that we can be doing to evolve ourselves. So we'll see what wants to come out for Libra. What aspect does Libra need to be aware of for their shadow work? Okay. Oh, we do have the Phoenix Rising, Libra. So that's a very interesting card, okay, because it does talk about, that imagery of the phoenix where it's, something coming to life from the ashes. So, the phoenix has to die in order for it to rise again as this brand new firebird. All right. So with the Phoenix rising, it's kind of like you're getting stuck on the ashes and not seeing all the possible things that might be brought to life from that. You're getting stuck on the obstacles without seeing the opportunities. All right. So that Phoenix Rising card really does remind us that, from the ashes, can this beautiful new creation can come to life. So it's really embracing the things that may come around from endings. All right. So if you've had some endings in your life, as we all do, in regard to many different things, it's not focusing on the endings; it's focusing on what the new beginning could entail. All right. So we'll get some extra information for you, Libra. What shadow work for Libra, please? Shadow work for Libra. Pardon. Okay, so firstly we have health, all right? So if we're looking at that image of the phoenix rising, where we're looking at issues where you're focusing on the bad health, you're not focusing on the positives that, at least you can walk. You may have a broken leg, but at least you can still walk. At least you still have a leg. All right, so it's kind of, really, really making sure we're flipping things back to positive every time we're looking at any negatives, making sure we are also seeing the positives as well. But that does say, I will honor the physical vessel that enshrines my soul. So, when it comes to your shadow work at the moment, there may be some things that, are holding you back from being the best physical self that you can be. So, when it comes to shadow work, you may actually have some more physical things that you do need to take into consideration at the moment. All right. So as shadow work, it's talking about things like, are we exercising properly? Are we eating properly? All those sorts of things might be a bit of an issue for you at the moment. Okay. And I do feel that card does come up with shadow work quite often when I'm dealing with people that may have some sort of eating disorders. So if that's a shadow work thing, it's reminding us that, we do need to deal with that and the root of that problem that is creating those physical issues. All right. So sometimes physical issues actually stem from emotional issues. So it's really getting to the root of the problem rather than just dealing, putting a band-aid on the broken leg. You may need to deal with, the broken stair that caused the broken leg. If it's a weird analogy, I'm sorry. We also have the growth card coming out. So, you are once again, getting stuck in the ashes. You're not growing. You're not expanding and turning into the phoenix as of yet. You're not allowing yourself that growth. You're holding yourself back from growth and expansion within yourself. You're focusing on, that the phoenix has died without focusing on the fact that, hang on, it's going to come back into this brand new bird. It does say here, I want to expand my consciousness and my awareness. So really, you may want to expand your consciousness and awareness, but you're not taking any physical steps to actually do so. All right. So once again, with that health card coming through, that physical aspect coming through, it's talking about, taking physical steps in order to, meet these goals and, like persevere with trying to expand yourself in a spiritual manner, in a, you know, personal growth kind of manner. All right. So definitely looking at some issues that are sort of relating back to your physicality at the moment, your physical growth, your you know, and just the growth of your, you know, your awareness and consciousness of yourself, really. Okay, but we'll get you some advice, Libra. Advice for Libra when it comes to their shadow work, please. Okay, so Libra, we've got some interesting advice for you here. We do have the mountain coming out first. Okay, so that's talking about obstacles that you are needing to face. All right, there may be some obstacles on your path, but if we keep looking at the ashes, the things that we've, uh, you know, if we keep looking at everything like it's an obstacle instead of just putting in that hard work to climb that mountain, that's where we get the achievement and the new opportunities at the top of the mountain, not halfway up. All right. So sometimes it does take a bit of hard work and perseverance. So it's just letting us know that you may need to put in a little bit of hard work and perseverance to overcome these obstacles that you're facing with your shadow work at the moment. We also have the fox coming through. So as a shadow work card, that just tells us that you really do need to, you know, think things with, you know, think of yourself first. It does talk about self-survival. It does talk about being quite crafty and clever, to the point of, you know, trickery, and getting around these obstacles in a clever manner. You may find that climbing that mountain, climbing that those challenges, you know, that there may be other ways to do it that you're not sort of seeing because you're limiting your growth, you're limiting your yourself, and you're not actually able to see that, hang on, there's other ways I can do this situation if I, you know, you know, just be really clever about the way that I approach it. All right, so it does have a very strong sense of independence as well. So, you know, staying quite independent while we face any challenges as well, and you know, I feel like taking on board that independence when it comes to our own growth, not relying on other people to help us grow, but relying on ourselves to help us grow, not relying on other people to, you know, overcome those challenges for us and smash that mountain out for us, but for us to make sure we're putting in that hard work ourselves. All right. And then we do also have the mouse energy coming through. So as an advice for shadow work, that kind of really just lets us know that, you know, there's some loss that we do need to face, because it is eating away at us a little bit. So once again, with that Phoenix rising card, you know, that loss, we're still feeling the loss of that Phoenix that has, you know, died, in order for this new Phoenix to be born. You know, so if you need to deal with that. You need to deal with that loss, so that that phoenix can rise again. All right. So whatever that loss is for you, it's going to be a bit different for everybody. But you know, it's something that's nibbling away at the back of your mind. It is eating away at you a little bit, eating away at your energy, eating away at your ability to, you know, persevere through these challenges. So you know, really needing to deal with that loss. You know, and for some of you, that may actually be a loss health wise as well, because we do have the health card there as well. You may have had a loss, you know, in your physical ability in some way or form, that really is sort of, you're struggling with it. All right, so really needing to face that and deal with that so that we can move forward. All right. So that's what I have for you, Libra. Obviously, more than welcome to check your other placements. But for now, we will move on to Scorpio. How are we today, Scorpio? Just facing our shadow selves today. So what does Scorpio need to... Okay, won't take those. That's too many. What does Scorpio need to face with their shadow work, please? Shadow work for Scorpio. Okay, an interesting card. We have entrapment. Okay, Scorpio. So there's something that is making us feel as though we are trapped. I feel as though it's a cycle. Straight away, intuitively, I'm feeling that it's some sort of cycle that you're feeling very, trapped by. That you're sort of trapped in this cycle, and you can't sort of find your way clear. It's kind of giving me that, even though it's not in the image or anything like that. It's giving me that vibe of like she's tangled up in the sheets and she can't untangle herself, even though, like I said, it's not even in the image, but it's like you're feeling like externally trapped. There may be somebody around you who, you may need to release in order to, release yourself in the process. So there's definitely some sort of trapped feeling coming through with that. All right, Scorpio and shadow work. Scorpio and shadow work, please. Yeah. So like I just said, that I am feeling that there may be a person around you that you are feeling trapped by. I do have the relationships card has come out. All right. So I'm attracted to those people who serve my higher good. So this person that's making you feel trapped is not serving your highest good. And, you know it because I do also have the honesty card. You're just denying it at this time. I can't always expect the truth from others, but I can expect it from myself. So, you're not being truthful with yourself about this person. I feel that deep down you do know that this person is sort of, trapping you at that level. They're not allowing you to, grow. It may be like even a physical entrapment kind of thing, like you're trapped in a relationship that you don't want to be in, but you're kind of not being honest with yourself about that and allowing that to continue and continue, even though it's not serving your highest purpose. All right. So, it does say, I can't always expect the truth from others, but I can expect it from myself. So it's really about, freeing yourself from this idea that going with the flow is easier. It's not always, you really do need to be true to yourself at the end of the day, and face this. And, if you do need to, physically escape a relationship and, leave something that is trapping you in place, even if it's just energetically trapping you in place, like stopping you from growing as a person, kind of a thing. It's not serving you and it's not serving your highest good. Okay. So, how can you expect, someone else to do all the work? You need to do some of the work yourself and face the truth about this situation. Sorry if that's a bit harsh, Scorpio, but that's what I'm getting. Advice for Scorpio when it comes to shadow work. Interesting. Okay, so firstly, I do have the masculine energy. So this person around you definitely could be a more masculine energy. I don't normally genderize. It is feeling more along the lines of you're sacrificing yourself, because I do also have the mouse and then the cross. Okay, and you can kind of see here with the cross, they look very, very similar, don't they? This masculine is up in that cross formation, as though they are sacrificing themselves. I do feel, a strong energy of, we're talking about releasing the burden that you're carrying from this person who is holding some sort of power over you. So once again, that's that entrapment vibe. Whoever this person is, they are holding some sort of power over you. They're quite, controlling, dominative. We do find with the masculine energy, it's somebody who's non-emotional. So it's once again, it's someone who's not being holding you from the truth of yourself as well. Because if they're non-emotional and very reserved with emotion, you're not dealing with emotion. You're dealing with logic. All right. And sometimes logic can be used against you when it comes to, if your true emotions differ from logic. I personally always suggest following your heart rather than, your logic, because sometimes, logic is not based on your intuition or your heart space. So two different realms. We do need to balance those and take them both into consideration. But the best choice for us is not one made purely from logic, purely from, thought space. The best decisions are always those made from the perfect balance of, your heart, your mind, and your soul. Okay. And I feel as though what's happening here is your entrapment. The entrapment is that you are not allowing, the emotions, the heart space, and the soul to lead. You're allowing yourself to be stuck in, but the realities of, the logic. Even if, sometimes logic presents a false narrative as well. And with that honesty card there, you're not being truthful with yourself about this, because you're not being truthful about your true feelings and your true, your soul, your intuition on the subject. All right. Um, and so that could also be, really eating away at you. You do sort of feel a big sense of loss, and I feel as though, with this mouse card, it does talk about loss and things that have been taken from you as well. So whatever this situation is, this relationship, I want to say, it's taking a part of you away, that, it's taking that truthfulness in your heart and your emotions. It's taking that from you, taking energy from you, and keeping you trapped. And it's stopping you from seeing the truth of the matter and seeing how you truly feel. All right. So I'm feeling quite strongly about this, Scorpio. So, it really is. I would not normally say this, but it really is giving me that vibe of, like a relationship where one person is taking a lot from you, and you're um, low key trapped in that relationship. But it's really talking about really needing to release that burden, and whatever is holding you in that connection, that I feel as though it's something, you know it, it's something coming from logic or a sense of duty. It's not your true emotion or heart or intuition holding you there. It's something else. All right. So you really need to be honest with yourself, Scorpio. And when we do have the cross there as well, that reminds us to, really access the spiritual side of ourselves, the religious side of ourselves, asking God for help, basically. This really does talk about having faith. Whatever you believe in, have faith that things will work out. If you can, untangle yourself from whatever this sacrifice is that you've made here, unentangle yourself from that situation and have faith that things will work out. Okay. Um, there's not much more I can say on that, Scorpio, but like, for those of you who do know exactly what this is all about, like, can I just give you guys a big giant hug right now? Because that feels like it's an external situation that is not right. All right. I'm really feeling that is not right. And you know it, and you're just not facing that truth. um you're trapped. I can't. It's a painful sort of situation. It feels as though you feel as though you need to make that sacrifice for some reason, Scorpio, but you don't. All right, you don't. And my heart goes out to you, Scorpio. It's a hard place to be in. I personally have been in that same place. Okay, so I think that's why it's hitting me so hard, because I do understand how hard that is to be in that situation. But it's not, when you do face the truth of that, and you do um, disentangle yourself from that situation. Like, you will be amazed at, having that faith. It does work out, okay? Even though you feel right now that it might not work out for you in the best ways, it will. Like, at the end of the day, you need to be, true to who you are and following your heart. And as hard as it may be, I feel as though that's what needs to happen, and you need to face the truth of that. Okay, Scorpio. So I'm sorry if that's a bit confronting, guys. You know, feel feel free to check your other placements if that doesn't resonate for you personally. But I will move on to our next sign, which is the Sagittarians. How are we today, Sagittarius? Just looking at our shadow work today. So what does Saggy need to know for their shadow work? Sagittarius, shadow work, please. Okay, so Sagittarius, I did get this for, I believe, Aries as well. So if you do have strong Aries placements, probably if you're a Sagittarian with an Aries moon or vice versa, the Aries reading may jump out to you as well. But we do have temptation coming out for you. So that really does talk about, the things that tempt us, the path of least resistance a lot of the time, so it's not necessarily those hardcore temptations, like, although it could be for some of you, we're dealing with addictions, it can be tempting people. But like I said, that path of least resistance, it's tempting to take the path of least resistance because you don't have to put in as much work. It is very tempting. All right. So it's facing those temptations. It's facing those things that, are tempting us to, do the easiest thing rather than the thing that we know we truly should do. All right. So that's what temptation seems to be about. But we'll grab some extra cards for you there. Sagittarius, shadow work for Sagittarius, please. Okay, so we do have honesty coming out. So that does say I can't always expect the truth from others, but I can expect it from myself. So there is something that you are not being honest with yourself about. All right. And deep down, you probably know exactly the truth of the matter, but for some reason, you're not following the truth. Like I said, with that temptation, that path of least resistance, sometimes it's easiest to just glaze over and pretend we don't know that we're going against our true path, and glaze over and pretend that we don't understand that we're just following the temptation to do the easy thing, rather than be honest with ourselves and understand that even though it's the easiest thing, it's not right for us. Okay, so really needing to face our own truth at the moment, Sagittarius. There's some temptations coming in strong at the moment, whether they're in the form of people, addictions, things. Temptation can be a lot of different things, but I do feel we are talking a lot more about that, the path of least resistance, and it's very tempting to take the easy way out, but if you are honest with yourself, the easiest way out may not be the right thing for you. All right. We also have courage coming through. So you're lacking courage, and that's why you're taking the easiest path. It does talk about fear with the courage card. You're fearful that if you take the harder path, that it's not going to work out. But having the courage to take that harder path, having the courage to be honest and truthful with yourself and follow your truth and follow your heart on the matter. Sorry, that is, always going to be the best path for your higher good. It does say on the card, I find the inner strength to face fear with confidence. Okay, so it does talk about, having the strength, having the courage to take that hard path because you know it is the right path for you. All right, so a very hard message, I feel, for some of the Sagittarians out there, but that's what we are seeing today. But I'll grab you some advice for Sagittarius, please, with their shadow work. Okay, Sagittarius, we have the letter. It's not very clear in this deck that that is a letter, but you know, we do have like a pen here, and that is a letter there. So it is a bit difficult to see, and you know, like the ink pot up the back here. So that is the letter. Okay, so that really does talk about communication. So, you know, that's reiterating that honesty message. So it's talking about, you know, communicating with yourself about the truth of the matter, and your true feelings on the matter. You know, it's really sitting down and having that big D&M with yourself, and honestly, like honest communication with yourself about what you do truly want, and need and deserve in this life. Okay, so it's talking about, yeah, sitting down and having that deep conversation with yourself, that really communicating with your heart space, and working out exactly why you are following temptation instead of your true path. All right, why you are you know, having this difficulty facing your fears at the moment. Then we do have the sun. Okay, so the sun really does talk about things coming to light. So once you do sit down with yourself and face the truth, you know, things really will come to light for you. All right, and the sun is, you know, the happiest card in the deck as well. So there is a lot of happiness there for the taking, and I do find too that, you know, the sun shining, you know, brings you that courage, brings you that inner strength. This is the Leo card, okay, and the Leo card and that courage card, they are very similar. Okay, it's talking about that inner strength. You know, so you may be involved with a Leo as well, just you all have strong Leo in your chart, but it's that inner strength. That inner strength is there within you. It's just a matter of sitting down and finding it, you know, sitting down and communicating with yourself and finding that inner courage, that inner bravery of yourself. You know, it's there, it is there, you know, and there's definitely happiness, and you know, you will sort of come out into the sun within yourself. All right, and then we do have the dog as well. So with the dog, I would be sort of saying as advice, there may be some friends around you who can help support you through this, and help you be honest with yourself. But it's really all about having compassion for yourself, making sure you're supported through these revelations. I feel like there's some revelations coming through for you, you know, when you do have this big communication with yourself. But you know, being loyal to yourself, truthful to yourself, you know, and then everything will sort of, you know, come into the light for you. Okay, Saji, that's what I have for you guys. But I will move on to our next sign. Feel welcome to check your other placements if that doesn't resonate. Okay, so moving on to Capricorn. Hi, Capricorn. Obviously, we have the full moon in Capricorn this month. So I imagine this will be affecting everybody quite strongly. If you watch the intro to the video, I do sort of explain a little bit more about that full moon. But, you know, it is in Capricorn. So those responsibilities at the forefront, but really sort of, you know, looking at our life, and you know, the way that we conduct ourselves with our lives as well. All right, so and honesty seems to be pretty strong this full moon as well, being honest with yourself. All right, so when it comes to shadow work, obviously we do need to be quite honest with ourselves. All right, so what is coming through for shadow work for Capricorn? Discover your life's purpose, Capricorn. So, once again, pretty much what I was just talking about with that full moon energy. I'm just going to grab my notes here and go through that because, like I said, um, the foundations to our life, our priorities, our work, our commitments, our goals, staying grounded in reality, approaching our life's structures, emphasis on the way we emotionally perceive things. And what do you want your legacy to be? So discover your life's purpose. What do you want your life's legacy to be, Capricorn? Being quite emotionally honest with yourself about your life purpose. Are you currently doing the things that set your heart on fire? Are you, are you following the things that, give you that sense that you are, following your true intentions in this life? All right. So we'll get a bit more info about all that. Excuse me. Okay, shadow work for Capricorn, please. Shadow work for Capricorn. I love it, Capricorn. We have the purpose card coming out. So, obviously that is at the forefront at the moment when it comes to the shadow work we do need to delve into. This one does say, I know what I am here to do. So it's really about finding what we're here on this planet to do. Are you truly doing what you want to be doing? Are you doing doing it in a way that is helping yourself, helping your self growth, helping your higher self, or are you doing it in a way that is purely only helping those around you? If it's only helping those around you and it's not actually helping yourself, maybe it's not your life's purpose. All right, so it's really about facing that and asking ourselves, are we actually doing what we want to be doing with this life? Is this, if my life ended tomorrow and this was what people were saying about me, is that what I would want? It's like I really feel that vibe of like, what do you want your epitaph to read? Is that how you say it? I don't know how you say it, but the thing on your tomb, what do you want it to say? Do you want it to say Capricorn worked hard? Probably not. You want a lot more out of your life than just work all the time. Capricorns are well known for work and striving for the top of the mountain, but is that all that you're here to do? What else do you want your life's purpose to be about? Do you want your life to be, more about love than about work all the time, about money, or, so it's really, really looking at that a bit deeper at the moment. Obviously, we've got that same word purpose twice. So, maybe looking into even just that word and what it means for you, having purpose. What, who are you living for? Are you living for yourself? Are you living for money? Are you living for love? All right. So really looking at, what it is that you are doing with your life and if that is actually for your highest good or not. We also have the trust card coming out. So, I did, when we did like, I am a Capricorn myself, so for some reason the Capricorn readings do tend to stick in my mind quite strongly, obviously because a lot of the time they do resonate with me as well. But I did do a reading recently about what is your person's red flags, and when I was doing the Capricorn one, it actually kind of struck me and resonated with me that hang on, these are some of my red flags as well. And it was all about, not trusting other people to have control, and being, and even just being fearful of losing control, because I believe it was control and fear that came out for Capricorn in that reading. So it's about, being able to trust others as well as, yourself, letting others have control, and trusting them to still do the job as well. All right, so this trust card, it does say, I accept that my inner voice will always guide me correctly. So it's trusting in your inner self as well. Trust yourself in your judgment. Trust that you um can follow your heart, can follow your intuition, trusting that, the universe has this big plan for you, and you are following that. Okay. So it's all about, making sure we're balancing our heart, our intuition, with our logical side. Capricorn does tend to come a lot more from that logical reality stuff, but balancing that out and trusting that, your intuition will guide you the right way as well. Your inner voice will guide you, okay? So having a bit more trust in yourself, Capricorn, because I also know, especially being a Capricorn, I do also know that Capricorns are actually quite well known for, not trusting themselves in that sense. Always, that's part of why Capricorns strive so hard, because, they always feel as though they have to do better, be better, be better. But, trust that you got this. You got this, Capricorn. You are on the right path, whether you trust it or not. So it's a matter of finding your purpose and then trusting in that as well. So when it comes to your purpose, that may be all that is about, is trusting that you are fulfilling your purpose in this world. All right. But we'll grab you some advice. Advice for Capricorn with their shadow work, please. Advice for Capricorn with shadow work. Okay, Capricorn. So we do have the anchor first and foremost. So, be secure in yourself. What we were just saying with that trust, the anchor does, drop off the ship to hold us steady. Okay, you can weather any storm. You are quite stable and secure all by yourself. It really is talking about, finding that purpose that anchors you in this life, and trusting that, it's stable, it's secure. You are stable and secure, even when, life does feel like a storm, that there is something within you that it keeps you strong, keeps you held steady. Okay, so once again, that's that trust coming on through. We also have the mouse energy coming through. So the mouse is all about, loss and feeling like things have been taken from us, things eating away at us in the back of our head. So, it's just letting us know that now really is the time to face those things. There may be a particular loss that you've had to deal with in the past that you do need to face. Okay, you do need to actually face that, because the thing that the anchor and the mouse can have in common is that if you allow this to keep eating away at you, that it will pull you down. Okay, and you will drown. Basically, that anchor, it keeps us sturdy and steady, but it also can pull us down and be just this weight on our shoulders until we cannot carry it anymore. So now really is the time to face that loss, face those things that you feel have been taken from you or taken out of your control. The things that eat away at you late at night, really, really starting to face those things and deal with those things, because the first step to being able to deal with those things is to face them and be aware of them, before you can, accept them and then move on from them. But We also do have the stars coming out as well, Capricorn. So this is one of the most beautiful cards in the deck. It does talk about wish fulfillment. Okay, so once again, I feel as though that's that trust coming on out, that, just trusting that all your dreams can come true, all your wishes, can be fulfilled. It's just a matter of trust, really, in yourself, in the universe. We do have that lovely universe kind of vibe with the stars coming through, but really it is about, having hope and optimism that you can overcome these things that eat away at you, and that you really can start to see all your wishes coming true. Okay, so keep the faith. I want to say, Capricorn, that all those wishes are there for the taking. And also with the stars card, I do find sometimes that it's quite useful to manifest in a way where we're very, very clear about what our purpose is, what we exactly want. All right, so maybe being a little bit more clearer with the universe about what our wishes are. All right, so that may be something that some of you may find useful as well, is just being very clear with the way that we are wishing. Like if there's a certain wish that you do want, like if you want a house, for example, sitting down and thinking about your criteria for that house. If you're a Capricorn like me, you love lists, right? So you have no problem sitting there and writing down, I want a house and I want it to, be this many bedrooms and this many bathrooms and have this feature and have a bathtub like this. Like me personally, that's on my wish list. Okay, my criteria list is I don't want one of those claw or like freestanding baths. I want a big solid bath. I don't know why, but I really don't like those freestanding baths. Okay, then the claw foot baths. They're not steady enough for me. I do like that sturdy bathtub. So a bit off track there, aren't I, Capricorn? But just talking about being very clear with what it is that you are wishing for, and then the universe can manifest that exactly to your specifications. Okay. So that's what we've got for you, Capricorn. Feel welcome to check your other placements. But we'll move over to Aquarius. How are we today, Aquarius? Just looking at our shadow work for the month. Since it is the full moon, we do shadow work on the full moon, guys. Over here on the Crazy Fairy channel, we do shadow work on the full moons, all right? It's a very sort of powerful time to be, facing those sorts of things. And it's, the moon lights up the sky. So it does help reveal a lot to us as well. And the moon is in control of, the tides, and it's got a strong pull on our emotional selves as well. So it definitely is a really good time to be looking at things like shadow work. All right, so what do we have for Aquarius with shadow work? Starting to get a bit waffly, I think, talking too much. Okay, Aquarius. What an Aquarian card to get, the Alchemy card, okay? So you guys, we do have the Alchemy card. So that's like magic, being able to, trust in the magic that you can bring to this world. That little bit of craziness that other people may just look at as though it's craziness. But we know here that, that crazy vibe sometimes is the exact, potion that we need in our lives. All right, so mixing it up and you can turn anything to gold, Aquarius. So as shadow work, I'm kind of feeling the vibe of, just having a little bit more faith in your own power, basically, like in the fact that you can turn any situation into gold. All right, so alchemy, that's what sort of alchemy is based on, is that that original turning a rock into gold kind of a vibe, you know, but it does bring to mind the things of like potions and magic, of course. So really finding your magic, you know, or refinding your magic, Aquarius, okay, and mixing up those potions and having a bit of faith that you can turn any situation around and turn it to gold for yourself. But we'll get a bit more info for you. Shadow work for Aquarius. Shadow work for Aquarius. Okay, so firstly we have surrender. All right, so that does say I can release my need to control. So, you know, you probably are feeling like you do need to control things at the moment, Aquarius, but, you know, you're really needing to practice releasing those things to the universe, releasing to that sense of magic, to that reminder of yourself that you can turn any situation into gold. All right, so surrendering your need to, you know, control or have things happen in a certain way. You know, you may not turn that to gold. You may be able to turn it to, you know, diamonds. But, you know, the more that you try to control that experiment, the harder it's going to be to find that piece of gold or that diamond or that topaz or whatever it might be. You know, but surrender to the process of that. Okay, so, you know, really mixing up the magic for you at the moment, Aquarius, and surrendering to the process of things rather than the outcomes. We also have blame coming out. So obviously there is something that you are blaming yourself for. You do have a bit of guilt surrounding something. You know, I do feel as though this is going to be something particular. You know, although it is a collective energy there, you know, it's going to be different for everybody. But I am feeling that this is some sort of guilt, that you're sort of beating yourself up about something in particular that may have happened. It does say, I accept responsibility for my well-being. So it also reminds us, you know, to not put the blame on others, you know, to accept that guilt, but not allow it to eat away at us, you know, so and not putting that blame on others. Okay, so that, you know, at the end of the day, you are your own person, and if something has happened to you, that yes, they probably are to blame, like, come on, but but you know that there is a level of blame that you need to place on yourself for allowing yourself to be in that situation where that has happened. Okay, I know that sounds a little bit harsh, and I'm not, definitely not victim shaming or anything like that, but you know, certain situations that can be the case. All right, so, you know, accepting responsibility for your own well-being and your own role in things as well. All right, so not shifting the blame, accepting the blame, but not allowing that blame to, you know, turn into guilt and eat away at you at all as well. All right, I do feel for majority of you though that is guilt rather than shifting blame or anything like that. I do feel as though for a lot of you that is guilt, and so surrender that guilt to the universe. All right, because you don't need to hold on to that guilt. All right. You know, I'm doing the opposite of victim shaming. You know, I'm actually saying that I feel like there's probably others to blame for, you know, this thing that you're feeling guilty for. It may not be you that is to blame. All right, so stop feeling guilty. All right, but we'll get you some advice, Aquarius. Advice for Aquarius with their shadow work. Okay. So we do first and foremost have the rider. All right. So the rider is, you know, he brings good news on in. He's usually pretty quick about it as well. So we do see someone on a horse, and the horse does come in pretty quick, bringing good news. So as advice for you, I feel as though it's kind of like, get back on that horse and, you know, shoot off into the sunset. It's kind of just like, yeah, I feel like it is just talking about that whole get back up on the horse kind of vibe, and you know, surrender to the good things in life as well. Like, don't just keep blaming yourself and feeling guilty for things. Start accepting the good things as well. Like, there's always positives to every negative. There's always negatives to every positive. But getting back up on that horse and allowing yourself to see those positives, and stop feeling guilty about everything. Allow yourself to accept good news as well as the bad news. All right. We do also have the moon coming out for you there. So it's sort of with that horse imagery. And like I said, it's pretty quick. I do feel as though we are looking at, a sort of current energy coming through for you with the full moon in process. That also does say, follow your intuition, really follow your intuition. And also, with the moon, we do see emotional sensitivities as well. So a little bit of, facing your true emotions about things, and facing those and calling yourself out if you are realizing that your emotions are misleading you. All right. Because, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, kind of a vibe with that emotional thing. So you may know that these emotions are outside of you, but you can't make yourself believe it. So now really is that opportunity to, allow yourself to surrender that doubt and that blame of yourself, that guilt that you're feeling, surrendering all that, to the full moon. You might be someone who wants to do a full moon ritual with the alchemy coming out, as well as that full moon and that vibe coming through. There definitely could be, an aspect of some sort of ritual that you may want to do for this full moon, to help you surrender guilt and those sorts of things, and surrender to the universe, and surrendering all that negativity that you've been holding on to. All right. So for some of you that may resonate, but obviously not for everyone. If you're not into that, you're not into that, and that's fine. But we also do have the stork coming out. Okay, so definitely some new energy getting stirred up for you. All right, so go right ahead, accept all the good news coming your way, accept the positive things. Don't just look at all the negative things, accept the positive things that have happened as well. And following your intuition, balancing your emotions, will actually help stir up a lot of brand new energy for you. All right, so that is like the gestation period of things that are going to grow into amazing things for you. It's really just allowing them to take hold. All right. So that's what I have for you today, Aquarius. So, of course, feel welcome to check your other placements. Usually in these readings, I do find people's moon signs to be quite important as well. So if you are going to check another sign, maybe check your moon sign. But for now, we'll move over to Pisces. Okay, so Pisces, just looking at our shadow work for the month. Obviously, the full moon in Capricorn at the moment. So hopefully that energy is soaking up okay for everybody. So Pisces, whoa, throw one out at me then, Pisces. You're the first sign that has thrown a card out at me with this deck. Normally they don't throw, but we do have family and tribe coming out. So obviously when it comes to your shadow work, we are looking at some family issues, or some issues, within, family and tribe can mean more than just your biological family. It can just mean, the family that you have chosen in this life, whether that's, made up of friends, biological family, non-biological family, all that sort of stuff. So we're really just looking at issues arising within that arena. Okay, so for some of you, there may be some family issues going on at the moment, or realizing, something that, a lot of the time when I see this card, it can actually talk about, the way that you were raised, and having some sort of issues that are affecting you now, that have actually got to do with the foundations you know, the way that you were raised, the way that you saw things as a child, you know, the way that you were raised to believe things should be as a child. Okay, so it can talk about that sort of stuff as well. You know, that things that you may now realize, hang on, that wasn't for my highest good to believe that, but I've believed that because that was kind of, you know, the example I was raised with of this is how families work. But you know, you may actually feel differently to that. You know, you may have some strong differences to other people within your family group, and that's kind of what's getting highlighted here at the moment, those sorts of issues. Okay, so I do find for, you know, a lot of people, it can talk about, like, you know, weird things as well, like religious differences and things like that. All right. So, you know, your family may have raised you in a specific religion, or, you know, I want to say cult. There's someone out there who was raised in a cult, okay, Pisces, but, you know, for others of you, you know, whatever you've been raised in that sort of system, and you're now realizing as an adult that's actually different to your core belief system, and that's perfectly okay, you know, like, and the opposite is okay too, you know, like, a lot of people that are raised without religion do turn to, you know, more religious aspects later in life. All right, so Pisces and shadow work for our Pisces, please. I don't know why I'm talking about religion there, Pisces. It did just sort of come to me intuitively, especially with that raised in a cult reference. That's quite odd. But we do have patience, all right? So obviously suffering a bit of a lack of patience at the moment with yourself, I feel, Pisces, that, you know, you're feeling as though you're not doing things as quickly as you want to, and you're not you know, that you're just struggling with the idea of patience, and it's letting us know that, you know, patience sometimes is necessary. Sometimes things take longer than we want them to. All right. I accept that everything happens in divine order. So it really does talk to about, you know, accepting divine timing and understanding that, you know, sometimes things happen a certain way for a reason. Sometimes they take longer for a reason. Things are delayed for a reason. We may not always know the reason, but you know that when the universe speaks, we all have no choice but to listen half the time. Isn't that right? We also have gratitude coming through. So, you know, maybe there's some things that you're not, you know, showing gratitude in a way that people are understanding, especially with that family and tribe card. Okay, so maybe it's just looking at our the way that we show gratitude, and understanding that other people within our family or tribe, they actually maybe don't see that we're showing them gratitude because they understand gratitude in a different way. It's kind of like that love languages thing, all right? So, you know, the love languages that people talk a lot about it, but it's like the gift giving, right? So if you are someone who is a gift giver, and that's the way that you show love and appreciation, but someone else within the family or the tribe, they really only understand love through like quality time, and they're wondering, why is Pisces giving me all these gifts but they never spend any time with me? They give me this and they help me out with that, but they never spend any time with me, and all I want is them to spend some time with me. So I feel as though that's what we're kind of looking at here, is just looking at, you know, maybe the reason you are struggling with a family member or something like that is because you guys might have different ways of showing gratitude. So maybe just sort of looking at that aspect, and maybe working out how you can show them gratitude in a different way, you know, or how you can accept gratitude in different ways, and sort of look at it in different ways. And that, hang on, maybe they are showing me gratitude and I just don't see it, because, you know, I perceive it in this way, whereas they are showing it in that way. All right. So just something to keep in mind, Pisces. It does say, I am thankful for this life and the opportunities that it presents. All right. So also, you know, taking time to be grateful for the opportunities that we do have in this life. And, you know, even if they're not, you know, opportunities that you're taking, or they're opportunities that are cloaked in hard things. Sometimes the best opportunities are wrapped up in a huge obstacle or challenge, and we don't see the opportunity because we're so wrapped up in the challenge of that. All right, but we'll have a look at some advice for you, Pisces. Advice for Pisces when it comes to shadow work, please. Advice for our Pisces. Quite a few signs have gotten this card, Pisces. This is the key, and it's been in the same placement for everyone I've drawn that for. I can't quite remember which signs I've drawn that for. So, you know, if you do want to check your other placements, go right ahead. Usually your moon sign is pretty strong during the full moons as well. But we do have the key. All right. So that means that there is a certain part of yourself that you are keeping locked away, and you're not even, I feel it's maybe linking up with that gratitude as well. You're not even grateful for that part of yourself because you've hidden it so deep within you and locked it away in this tiny little space within you that you don't even know about it, and you're not grateful for it because you don't know about it. But I'm feeling that it's sort of letting us know that now is the time to unlock that side of yourself that you maybe haven't released in a very long time. There is this hidden part of you with this key card here. There is a hidden part of you that, you know, it wants to be unlocked, and, you know, it really wants you to open that door, open that part of yourself up to yourself and others. I feel and others is quite important here, Pisces. This is a part of you that you keep under lock and key, hidden away from other people, and you don't sort of show other people. But, you know, we do have a lot of success with the key. And then the next card I do have is the fish, which is the the financial wealth abundance card. So we do see the potential for a lot of success here for you. And with the abundance, I do feel as though that's that gratitude. I feel as though there's a lot of people around you that have been trying to show you an abundance of love and support and gratitude for having you in their life. And for some reason, because you have locked this part of yourself away, you haven't been able to sort of see it or understand it. All right. So just something to keep in mind, Pisces. I do feel as though you are closing yourself off to all this abundance. And it could even be, you know, financial abundance as well, you know, with both the key and the fish do talk about that more financial success stuff. So, you know, whatever it is that you're locking away under, you've got part of yourself under lock and key. I feel as though it's stopping you from, being fully abundant in this world. All right, so definitely now is the time to, you know, really think about what that is that you are, you know, locking away from everyone else, and release it. You know, I want to say release the kraken. Sorry, Pisces. I don't know where that one came from. But we also have the scythe coming out. So some sudden, unexpected changes, and really I feel like that's that patience. All right. So if you can display some patience, that things, you know, having faith that things happen for a reason in the time that they're supposed to happen. And if you can display some patience for these things to happen, they are just going to come out of nowhere and really shock you. It's feeling like, you know, that really unexpected plot twist. All right. And it's coming. It feels like it's coming quite quickly. Very shocking. Something I don't know what this is, but this is something shocking. Okay, Pisces. It's going to, you know, shock you to your core. Once again, I'm saying these things, Pisces. They're just coming out of me intuitively. But they don't even make sense to me. So I hope they make sense to you guys. I know Tyler Tarot, he does it all the time where he's like, I'm not connecting with this reading, and that's when it actually makes the most sense to all the people in the comments. So I'm hoping that's what's happening here, because, you know, when you release the Kraken, then we're going to have this shock to the core. I'm going to grab another card, Pisces, because I'm intrigued. What is this scythe? Can we please clarify this scythe for Pisces? That's just left me with more questions, Pisces. We have the fox coming out. All right, so the fox is a very tricky energy. So it doesn't want to show me what that is about. It doesn't want to tell us directly what that is about. But the fox is like, it's usually referring to a person. All right, so there's going to be a big shock twist out of nowhere. And it's all dependent on what we've talked about today with your shadow work. It's feeling like it's very dependent on you sort of unlocking that side of yourself that you have kept hidden. All right, so whatever that is for you, you need to unlock that side of yourself and you know, open the floodgates, release the Kraken, as so to speak. You know, but the fox is like, I can feel that it's a person, and it's like, it's this very tricky energy, very clever. They're probably someone quite intelligent. You know, they are going to have a lot to say, and they're quite independent person. All right, so it could be like somebody who once again, this is a career card as well. So for some of you Pisces, this is going to be somehow connected to money or career. All right, but you know, we've got that family and tribe coming through as well. So it could be somebody within your tribe, something to do with their career or their money. But there is this big shock twist coming through I feel like it's coming through from this person. And like, there may even be a fox reference there too, like an actual fox reference. Like if you know somebody that, you know, people call them crafty like a fox, or you know, like, I want to say, you know, the silver fox, like, you know how sometimes that can be like a reference to an older like an older man. If you're a female, that can be, you know, the great, like the silver fox, or whatever. So that could be an indication of who this person is. They could also have red hair, all right, because the fox usually, majority of the time, and the fox that I identify with is a red fox. You know, here in Australia, majority of our foxes are red. You know, so they could also have that, you know, that lovely red ginger colored hair. I can't. I'm just keep getting that vibe that it's blocking me from actually getting more information about that. Yeah, quite interesting. I do have the feminine on the bottom of the deck there, so it may actually be a woman, a silver foxed woman coming through there. That's very interesting, but there is some sort of shock twist coming through, all right? Let me know, Pisces. Keep me updated, all right? Because it's going to come in quick, all right? I do feel as though that's, you know, within a few weeks. All right, so get back to me and let me know. I want all the goss, guys. Let me know. I'm waiting for this big shock twist. I'm going to live vicariously through Pisces this month. All right, but that's what we have for you guys today. I hope that resonated for you. If not, feel welcome to check your other placements. But, leave a comment and you'll go in the draw for that free personal reading. Like and subscribe to the channel, and hopefully I'll see you all again soon.